Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about vibe tags. What are vibe tags, we're wondering? Well, they sound fairly self-explanatory, but we're going to go into a little more detail. Essentially, when families are looking at schools, as we've mentioned before, they usually look at location, their major, the size of the school, but they're often left wondering, what is it like to live on that campus? Who are these students I'm going to be around? What does it feel like in that college town or city or rural expanse? So what we did was we created these vibe tags so that students can think, again, we're always about layers. Think about layers, and I'm just going to go through these tags a little bit with you guys. So essentially, we have colored them so they're in groups. They're not mutually exclusive. I can pick a school that has STEMmy students, students that are leaning towards the maths and sciences. Or I can pick, or also I can pick academically balanced, which is a wide range of majors. And why is this important? Well, a lot of engineers have the option of going to a school that is all, tech-based or, student body is very STEM oriented, like a Caltech or a Colorado School of the Mines or Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute or RPI. And so that would be STEMmy. Other students will be like, well, I want to be an engineer, but I also don't want to be around people that are just doing the exact same thing I am. I want to have my roommate be a pre-med and my other roommate potentially be an art major. And that helps me kind of feel more well balanced. There is no right or wrong. These are just ways that people will think of the student body. So we put it at artsy, STEMmy, and academically balanced. The next little grouping is the work hard, play hard, work hard, chill hard, work hard, sleep hard. We've been using these determinations forever. Some of them are, are these are somewhat intuitive. Work hard, play hard are the schools usually that have, big sports, usually a pretty active Greek life. There's usually a lot of kind of activities and parties. A lot of times it kind of associates around a big college town. Not necessarily, but that's kind of the generalities. Then there's work hard, chill hard. These students are not being social. It's just they do their social life a little bit different. So, for example, this up here might be like University of Michigan or Penn State or Ohio State. And then work hard, chill hard might be, like a UC Davis or even like a Stanford or a University of Maryland. There still maybe be sports at these schools, but the students will spend a lot of time having social relationships, but they aren't revolving around big sports, parties, Greek life, etc. They're just more about tight-knit bonds, kickbacks, etc. I got a little cold, excuse me. And then we have work hard, play hard. Um, work hard, sleep hard, which are schools that are quite often going to be the ones where students have a really, um, you know, direct pre-professional mission, engineering or pre-med, like Johns Hopkins, or just known to be academically very rigorous, like University of Chicago, or have a really kind of extensive core curriculum, like Columbia University. And those schools we kind of put into the work hard, sleep hard. The next little grouping here is career focused, fosters explanation, traditional curriculum. Career focused are going to be the schools that are not going to have you do a lot of gen eds, not going to have you do a ton of prereqs. They're pretty much just tracking you into your major. That would be like a Northeastern, a Cal Poly SLO, a Drexel, um, those types of schools. Fosters exploration. These would be schools that are encouraging you to kind of learn from a broad set of disciplines before you go into your major. This could be liberal arts schools, like a lot of the small schools like Bates, Bowdoin, Colby, Colgate, Amherst, etc. Or it can be one of the schools that kind of allows you to design your own curriculum, like a Brown or Connecticut College, um, where students can just explore themselves. And traditional curriculum, pretty much everybody else. That's going to include like the big state schools, some of the more medium-sized schools like a Boston College or something like that. The next one are cozy community, college town, big city. Again, probably fairly intuitive. Some schools won't be marked with any of these because we can see some place kind of falling between the cracks. Like It might be outside the city, just enough like a Evanston for Northwestern, but so it's not really big city. It's not really a college town. It's not really a cozy community. So those get no designation. But otherwise, cozy community is going to be those schools that are in, really kind of friendly little quaint towns like a Williams or a Hendrix, College William and Mary. And then you will have the college towns. Those will be the schools like, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Boulder, Colorado, Ithaca for Cornell and Ithaca College, and big city are going to be the schools that are pretty much plunked down into the city, like an NYU, BU, Emerson, University of Pittsburgh, etc. Then we go into architecture. We don't expect students to know a lot about architecture, but it's kind of fun when you start to realize, wow, for some reason, a lot of the schools that I tend to like visually always have that vibe tag of Gothic architecture. And so that is, something that you can just keep an eye on. And some students do already know stuff about this. Colonial is going to be, a lot of your more southeastern schools, some of your northeastern. Spanish style is going to be more your West Coast schools. Modern are going to be sprinkled around. Sometimes it's because they don't have like a historical pedigree. I mean, architectural pedigree, so you don't see anything kind of unique there. Maybe like some of the Cal States. Um, or it might just be, sleek modern design, like you'll see at like a Stevens Institute of Technology or something like that. Then we have just geographic, natural kind of elements. Ocean breeze, this is usually within a mile or so. You should either be able to see the ocean or smell the ocean. If it's more than 4 or 5 miles, as close as it is for trips, we usually don't put ocean breeze down, but those are going to obviously your coastal schools. River's Edge, you'd be shocked at how many schools are on rivers. It's kind of like cities get built on rivers. So do college campuses. It makes for a really wonderful just sense of clean air. It's beautiful kind of views. A lot of the dorms look out on the river. There's usually exercise paths along rivers. So rivers are cool. So are lakes. That's right, everybody. Rivers and lakes are cool. And then you have mountain views. This could be schools like Fort Lewis or schools like Boulder or Colorado State, University of Utah. It can also be schools that, you can see mountains from, like a school like Claremont, constant mountains in the distance. So mountain views. And then we have some more of the weather patterns here. The weather you can go into, there's widgets on the inside of the app, as well as there are, overall climate descriptions and temperatures. But this is just a quick way to do a screen. Rainy days are going to be those schools, whether it's the northwest, the southeast, just where you're seeing a lot of, mist or heavy rain. Like even if you look at the maps, if you go to the map view video, you'll see like Washington. There's even a big difference in how it rains in Spokane versus how it rains in Seattle. So we try to kind of help families see that. Sunshine rays, those are going to be the schools like your Arizona, your Texas, etc. Again, the East Coast schools might be hot, but they may not be as sunny. Snow globe life. Yeah, we go back and forth with our team on this. What is snow globe life? It's just because the snow is it snow globe life? Not necessarily. We try to make these schools more the ones that stand out as being like an idyllic experience in the snow, pretty trees and, quaint little fields or mountains. It just feels kind of like you're in a postcard. Sometimes the city schools don't make the cut just because you're in an urban center. Yeah, you might get snow, but it doesn't kind of give that same vibe. 4 distinct seasons. That's going to be, a school that, doesn't just quote unquote have 4 seasons on the calendar, but you can feel the difference. This usually requires a little bit of snow. We usually don't go below the mid-Atlantic line, or the midpoint of north-south, because we start to see schools below that not having a full 4 seasons. Also, some schools in the far north, they're really kind of not really 4 distinct seasons either. Their springs and summers kind of blend together into a short kind of period. So we try to break that out. Then we have culturally diverse, which is going to be, your ethnicity breakdown, which again is going to be on the inside of the cards on the center icons. You can look at that. And culturally diverse, we say that there's no group that has over, like 40%. So the bar graph, if you look at it, it's going to be broken down a little more evenly. So it's not going to be just one group dominates, whether that is white, African American, Asian American. So it's more diverse, geographically diverse. Schools that are not geographically diverse will be like University of Texas, or University of Virginia, where it's primarily students from that state only. And then there are schools that kind of do a little bit of a balance, like a Michigan or a Washington, but those still aren't geographically diverse. Geographically diverse schools tend to pull pretty equally from around the country. That might be a school like BU or a school like Tulane. LGBTQIA champions. This, a lot of schools will just put up their webpage that says, we support LGBTQ rights. These schools go one step further and they really make a lot of safe spaces for these students. They do really well in the Campus Pride Index. And, we just want to kind of highlight the ones that kind of rise to the top. These are the kind of the, labs and library life. This is the schools where, you know, you may be working hard, you may be playing hard, but a lot of your time you're going to be kind of just going and sitting in the library and doing work. Like this might be a University of Washington. This might be University of Chicago. This also labs. This might be Rice. This might be MIT. Then you have Greek life rules. A lot of schools will have Greek life, but some schools it dominates their social life. Whether that's going to be like Arizona State or that's going to be Penn State or USC. That is going to be where the Greek life rules. Big stadium cheers. Just because you have D1 doesn't mean that you have a big stadium, doesn't mean that you have a lot of people going there. So we kind of separate those schools out. Religious affiliation, whether it's Christian, Catholic, you name it, we mark those. Non-traditional education, that can be anything from a school like Evergreen, where they teach in teams, or a school like Pratt, where it's primarily art, and you're not doing a full rounded curriculum. So those schools will be a little, or a school like Colorado College, where you take classes at one block at a time. In other words, you don't take two classes simultaneously. You'll take one for 3 weeks, you'll stop, and you'll take another one for 3 weeks. And then these last two, we put them together because we want to show that they aren't quite mutually exclusive, but they tend to kind of nudge each other out. Because a lot of families will talk about small class sizes. Oh, I really want a school with small class sizes so I can get to know the professor, etc. Um, but what you end up doing when you have small class sizes, you tend to have fewer classes and fewer professors because the school overall is smaller. So options tend to decrease. And that's a cost benefit trade-off. Like abundant major choices, go to a school like Berkeley or go to a school like you know, University of Texas, and you're going to see a ton of majors. We can, scroll through those all day long, but then you won't have small classes. So it is a little bit of a trade-off. So what a student will do is they will kind of click some of these things. I'm just going to do some here just so that I can kind of show you how this works. And I'm going to work hard, play hard, academically balanced. And then I'm gonna put a couple of majors here. I'll just put, what do I want? I'll put psychology. And then I'll go like this, close that. And then over here, I'll just pick, a couple of areas that I want to look at. I'll save the search as psych with vibe tags. And now I go like this. And now this will be my psychology with all those elements that I was looking at. And if I open up a school, oops, double clicked it. And now we're at Madison instead of Washington. but I can see the elements that match that I clicked. So it'll still show me the other things about the school, Lakeshore, Greek life rules, you know, Gothic architecture, four distinct seasons, all that stuff. But the ones that are a match to mine are the ones in blue. Sometimes I'll play around and I'll just put like Gothic architecture and just see like what that brings up. But I'm also paying attention to the things that keep showing up that I didn't click. Well, dang, maybe Gothic architecture is my thing, is my vibe because it keeps coming up and all the schools I tend to heart have it. So maybe I'll use that as one of my next filters. And so once again, you are going to, look through the vibe tags, play with it. You don't have to do all the tags at once. You can do them all at once, but sometimes using like thinner screens and saving searches is going to be a more efficient way and a more clear way for you to see the schools that you're looking for. Um, but happy listing with the vibe tags, everybody.